Hey, this is Michelle Smith from the United States Olympic gold medal winning softball team, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
When there's a report coming out as important as someone stealing 400,000 Bluey coins, the least they can do is include the contact number so I could try to purchase one. Bluey is the hottest thing going, if you have a small child, small grandchild, whatever. So just recently took my granddaughter to see Bluey. Awful show.
Really?
It was awful. It was awful. My biggest complaint about it is that particular show is for kids, small kids, right? They're not characters. They're puppets. So a human is moving this puppet around. So basically you're trying to tell a 4-year-old the gimmick, and to me it was not good.
But the Bluey was kind of what Bitcoin once was. I remember Mark Ferguson sponsored the show, Randy's longest sponsor of the show, Mike, and he was accepting Bitcoin back in 2007, it seemed like. I mean, he was one of the most early people I knew even accepting it for currency to exchange for like food or for purchases at his bar. And now look at Bitcoin. I mean, we had a dip this week, but what a massive...
It's crazy.
So Bluey's...
Even Gronk knew that's not real money. All right, coming up momentarily, Left Hand to God is coming up. Danny Barlow fights this weekend. Second fight under the UFC banner, so we're going to be talking to him momentarily. And as the UFC continues doing what they do.
You mentioned Makaev, the guy who got cut, Muhammad. I just read an article. Aljamain Sterling came out and said he thought it was, quote, effed up that UFC let him go.
I guess you could own your own organization and do what you want.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, even Ray Sefo.
But yeah, Ray Sefo, like you said, one of the nicest guys, said, no, I think we'll pass. Yeah. So when there's smoke, there's fire.
That's true, but don't forget, who was the guy who kicked out the limousine window during the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
And now he's come back, and he's a totally changed man. Even Dana White made a comment that he's a totally changed guy, and he was young and he made a mistake, and now he's the guy's just thankful to be back.
So how do you determine whose mistake is worthy to give a second chance to?
Yeah, that's a
well. If
question.
Your name is John Jones,
wow.
You get more than one. You get
all
more
right. Well, I don't remember the Ultimate Fighter's name.
Right,
they kicked out the window. That's not John Jones. And then Paul Daly,
correct,
who was a bigger name.
Sucker punched.
Right, Koscheck. And Dana said never, ever, ever. So, again, own a business and you can make those decisions.
But Paul Daly versus Nick Diaz in Strikeforce after that incident, that was a great fight.
Well, I mean, Daly was a decent fighter.
Yeah.
It's just he let his emotions get a hold of him.
And another guy that was an up-and-coming, promising star, Violent Bob Ross, made some mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's now back in action. He's fighting in a different promotion than the UFC. But, young men and women, they make mistakes in life. And, it's a shame that it holds them back from opportunity. But when they come back from that, that's a true testament to, just resiliency.
What's a different organization in the UFC?
I don't know which one he's fighting in this. I can find it.
Yeah.
Bellator, maybe?
Well, I'm just confused what a different organization in the UFC means.
Oh, it's different than. It's the UFC is like the main promotion, right? It's like the NFL.
Yeah, it is.
But everything else is secondary. This is smaller. It's not PFL. It's not as big a promotion. But he's back in action. He's still making his dream a reality. So kudos for him to take the
What's the dream? And I'm not saying whatever
support his family to pay for his lifestyle.
Do you think you make? Well, you don't. You're not going to make the same money in any organization other than maybe PFL, maybe one.
Or maybe take a fight with Jake Paul.
Well, yeah.
And you can make it more money than.
Yeah, but he's not.
Jesse Taylor.
Yeah, good job.
That's the fighter.
Wow, that's impressive.
He got kicked off the UFC Ultimate Fighter show because. He went to Lorenzo Fertitta's casino, made a scene, asked the guy, "Don't you know who I am? I'm a UFC fighter," and then kicked the window out of the limousine. And that was a bad night for him when Dana got that call.
Have we had any limousine issues on this network? I mean, we have a studio limousine. Has anyone kicked out the limo?
Yeah, you have to kick out the limo because the windows don't go down and the AC doesn't work.
So
you don't need to go to a gym. You don't need to go to a sauna.
Right.
So true story. I parked my Jeep at the Hard Rock Casino for the Russell Peters show. I talked to head security, and they're like, "Hey, you're good. Just leave it in the front.
I hope it got towed.
We'll keep an eye on it." No, they don't let anybody climb on it. They don't let anybody mess with it. And they're like, "Aren't you the guy with the limo?" I'm like, "No, that's my producer. He'll be here soon." So they reserve 2 spots in valet for us every time we go to the Hard Rock for an MMA event or for bare knuckle or for comedy.
All right. You ready to talk some MMA finally? Who cares about his parking spot?
VIP, baby.
Well, not no more, but